everyone, how you going again? It's Yanis here, and I really just wanted to, excuse me, I really just wanted to follow up on the manifesting video that I did the other day, and to say that I've done, as the journey never stops, as you all know, I did some work very much on one of the themes that I knew about, but I didn't go in as much depth, and I have used it successfully. Anyway, the law of assumption. In the manifesting video, I spoke of that as one of the many things to do. One was to be in alignment, and the other was to use the law of assumption. Now, I've used the law of assumption successfully in the past, but mainly at night, letting the feeling slip into the unconscious from the conscious. So assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled at night and let it sink in the conscious, into the unconscious. Since then, I've listened to a few new videos, as we do, and thought I'd try one of the exercises on there. Let me just get that in a better spot. Yeah, thought I'd try one of the exercises on there. And I've got a report that I really think that that's the way forward. And it's based on the Neville idea of your imagination is your I am. So your imagination is your other being, because you can imagine anything. It is your I am presence. And it's through your imagination that you apply the feeling as if you have that which you wish for, by staying in there all the time. So it's a little bit contrary to what I said. In that, what I said is you do it and forget about it. So you just zoom in, get your 17 seconds, and then forget about that you've done it. I think that applies when you're in a completely bliss state all the time after that anyway, and then that would work. But if you're constantly shown evidence of lack, then you need to maintain the feeling through constant work. So what I did was, one of the videos I listened to was imagine you're lucky all day. Just imagine you're lucky all day. And I did that. And I just stayed with it. And I started blissing out. Which lucky is saying, basically, that all the things you wish for, you'll get. You're that lucky, So it was a good trick to get you in that completely powerful co-creator state where anything you wish for, you get. And I started blissing. It was quite weird. It took a couple of hours, but yeah, I started going off, as they say. So then I listened to a few more things and did a bit more work, and now am convinced that if you have any evidence of lack at all, then you would need to work harder. So let's take that back a couple of steps. In my video, I said that I manifested some things by wishing on them and visioning them and polishing them up and then leaving them. Well, that would work with something like an accommodation. I wanted an apartment that looks like this. Because you don't really need to do a lot of, you're not kind of in lack when you haven't got one like that. You just, when it comes along, you're grateful to receive it. So it's not like it needs constant work on something like that. What else would be another example? If you wanted a particular, like for me, sort of particular, like a guitar, or change a car that you wanted, a certain one that you wanted, and they weren't available, like say a rare car. It's not like something you would be just zapping on all the time. You could easily stay in just as long as you're in alignment. And really, friends, I've got to say, alignment is not criticizing and not complaining at all, ever, about anything. Everything is what it is. People are the way they are. Criticizing them or complaining about them, I guarantee you, will not change it, because they're living their alignment. The reason they're the way they are is because that's how they've instructed their unconscious mind, their I am, to deliver their world to them in that form. So there's no way that you giving them a hard time about it is going to change anything, because all they're going to do is call you an asshole and carry on the same old way. So it's a waste of time doing any of that. The best way to be is fucking happy all the time. Just happy, 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 happy. Even if you make it up. That's why I like the lucky one. The lucky one was easier than going, be happy, just be happy. Just chill out, man. Don't you hate when people say things like that? So just make yourself happy. If you've got so much bad stuff happening to you, to try and make yourself happy, well, probably impossible. However, to try and imagine yourself as lucky, not so hard. Not so hard at all. So that is where I'm going to qualify that last video, everybody. So superficial things that are about a chance discovery or a chance opportunity to get them, maybe forgetting about them is a good idea, because dwelling on them is going to tell the universe you don't have them. Whereas something like a lifestyle, like being prosperous, you need to be sending out all the time the message that you're prosperous. Oh, excuse me, there's a lot of dust around there. They're plastering and stuff outside. So without any sense of lack. And I know it's difficult, because every time you go to buy something with your card, it's telling you. But how I'm doing it is, if I need something, I pay for it. And I don't think too much about it, because I never need, it's not like I'm going to need a boat. But if I need something that normally 100, 200, whatever, 300, I would go, I've got to think, there's a while to the end of the month and all this business. If I really need it and I really want it at that time, like today I had to do that, just for some building materials that were twice what they were meant to be, because this particular Greek saw that I needed it that moment, and so doubled his price. Yeah, that's why some of them are doing really well. Anyway, I held no grudge about that. Never get in between a man and his money. So if you're thinking about being prosperous, if you're thinking about being in love, if you're thinking about losing weight, if you're thinking about being more healthy, you have to stay in that imagination of where you are, without any concept that you're not it. And this is the work, of course. So I suppose exercises in imagination would be really good for you to help develop your imagination. And this is where a meditation with, say, a vision board or something would be good. So, for example, when you're meditating, and generally meditating, you're trying to empty yourself of thoughts and concentrate on your mantra or whatever you're doing. But if you need a meditation to be giving you something, like a study meditation, like say you meditate twice a day, and you might do an extra one, which is just to practice imagining. And in that meditation, you're seeing the house you really want. You're seeing the house with the swimming pool that you really want. You're seeing the doctor's report saying how healthy and everything, how good you are, and how everything's been okay. Or it's just passing, and then you're going back to if you don't do doctors, it's just passing, and all the pain leaving you, and how great that feels, and stay in there without being conscious of the pain you have. Now, I've used mindfulness. I have suffered and do suffer from the odd ache and pain, having had a lot of injuries, sports and otherwise. And sometimes they play up, particularly in the damp weather. And I've had to go in them because they wake me up and all sorts of things. I've had to just go in them mindfully and just go, look, I get it. I get it, but there's nothing we can do about it now. You just have to ease your way out of here. Thanks for the message. I appreciate it, but it's time that, as I'm a really good healer, it's time for you to, take your little message back to source. See you later. And interestingly, when you get in the pain mindfully, it seems to pass, lessen. There are other techniques, hypnotic techniques of imagine that it's in the snow, and really imagine it's in the snow and just numb it. And that works. When I was a hypnotherapist, I used that technique a lot with people that had chronic pain and didn't know how to deal with it. But I find the mindfulness works pretty well in my case because it's not debilitating pain. I never take painkillers. Well, I don't take pharmaceuticals anymore anyway, but it never, I'd rather get up and walk around than take a couple of paracetamols, what they call America, Tylenols, paracetamols or ibuprofen. So anyway, I have a waffling. I have a little waffling issue. Getting back to the two things we're talking about. The two things we're talking about are when to stay in the imagination and in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and when to let it go. And I don't think we were saying that in big things that you need a change of without indicating any lack. Like I did this as a hypnotherapist. You want to lose weight. It's really hard to look at yourself in the mirror when you're really overweight and say, I'm thin. It just, and yet, as a hypnotherapist, and other sorts of therapists, you're always saying, that's what you've got to do. You've just got to imagine you're thin, and then your unconscious mind will work towards that. So that's one of the trickiest. Sleeping's a pretty tricky one. But the only, I think, for weight loss, I think a smarter way is to imagine the feeling of being able to easily intermittent fast. Something like that. Imagine the feeling of easily being able to say no after just one piece of chocolate or one biscuit. Of easily being able to restrict your meals to one a day or two a day. Part of the intermittent fasting program. So I think that's a much more constructive way than trying to imagine yourself thin when every time you look in the mirror or try on your old clothes, you know you're not. And that's how I know. I don't weigh myself anymore, but I know I'm too heavy at the moment because I've put on some trousers as it's starting to cool down a bit. I put on some in Greece here, it's really shorts all summer for me. So suddenly put on some trousers. It got cool the other night, and they're a bit tight. So, and you obviously can see it, but when you have incremental change, it's not as obvious. Anyway, I'm in the waffling mode again. I'm really sorry about this, but it does happen. Anyway, so that's the update on manifesting. If you like what you heard, I'm going to keep these sort of mumbling mumbling updates going on all aspects of. It's all about finding happiness and peace, isn't it? Or stepping out of the matrix. You know, getting happy. Everyone wants to be. We just want to be free and happy, don't we? And content and peace, at peace, without all the aggravation of life. And so, you know, being more healthy, being prosperous would help, being in love would help, being all the things that we feel we're lacking. And this manifesting part two is a way towards that. So, just to recap, feeling all the time like you have the thing, your desire. But if that's tricky, then start with just feeling lucky, because that's the pathway, and that's not so hard to feel, is it? Just feel lucky all day. I guarantee you, at some point during the day, you'll actually start buzzing on how good you feel. I did, and I'm nothing very special. So there you are, everybody. If you've liked what you heard, please press the like button and subscribe with the bell so that you get more of these. I'm going to do my best, my very best, to be quite regular, semi-regular, at producing these. So thanks for listening. I appreciate your time, and bye for now.